Hey, everybody, I'm Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. How are you? Allison Metcalf Palumbo already wants a snack, and we haven't even freaking got started. That's all right, though. We love you. Scoob, what's happening? Hello, Jane Aldrich. Good to see you. What's going on, Trips Captain? Ahoy to you, too. I'm glad that you're here. Mo, good to have you. Trisha Biggs is in the house, as is Sandy Wandy. I live for now. And Jason P. What's up, Trisha? Glad you're here. Hello, Kathy Ann. I am here. Right on time. Doesn't always happen, but it did tonight. Hello, Deanna Downey. Good to see you. I'm happy you all are here. We'll get into this thing here in a minute, but I want to make sure everybody shows up. Tina Marie, how are you? Charlie Muffin is in the house. Good to see you, Charlie. Glad that you're here, my man. The newest nut is here. Hey, Coach Lisa. Lisa Hill. Hello. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. How are you, Dee Dee? Hello, Lisa Trimble. I am glad that you are here. Things are good and sunny. South Florida. April Goodson. How are you? Squirrel Girl. Doing all right? Glad you're here. Franklin MC is here. Hope you're feeling better, Franklin. You're continuing to be in my thoughts. Let's see. Miss Sunrise Dawn, how are you? Vermont represented. Not just Vermont, but the best parts of Vermont. Piano Mom, good to see you. I know that part of Vermont. Hey, Martha, how are you? Hello, Anna. Muffet Lou, how are you doing? Incarnasoul. Connie, I got a really ugly message yesterday from somebody that just lit me up for this. Diana H., how are you? And I pointed out that I will not hold their feet to the fire and force them to watch any more of my shows. Hey, Connie. Diana H. Shannon Smith. Goosebumps 801. Hello, Janet. I'm sorry. Criminello. Good to see you. It's a great last name. Irish? Just kidding. Criminello. It's got a great ring to it. I love names that end in vowels. Always been a fan. Hey, Okie Mom. Looks like a new avatar. Like it. Roberta. Hey, Shelly. Angie Mo. Salami slices, cheese puffs, or Cool Ranch Doritos? That is the question. Not an easy one either, because I could very easily go with any of those or all the above and be happy at the same time. What do you think about the Richard Speck video from back in the day? He was doing a lot of things he wasn't supposed to be doing. Thanks. You know what? We may talk about Richard Speck, Rosanna Dana. It's actually a very interesting case. And it would be cool to do some really old school crime stuff. There's going to be, I got a lot of emails recently about true crime. It's since I did it, not before that. And a bunch of you were really, really happy that I'm putting some true crime back on the boat, and we will continue to do so. Wade Wilson is the name that everybody seems to want me to do a show about. Wade Wilson, and I'm not adverse. I've actually, here's the thing. Even if I'm not talking about true crime, I'm watching it. It's one camera. It's one of the only things left on earth I can still watch. There's no editing at all. In true crime dramas are usually, not dramas, but true crime stuff is usually courts. It's usually interrogations. It's one freaking camera. It's not a lot of editing. And for me, that's great. That's good stuff. Nancy Schmancy. Love that. Really do. Hey, Pajama Pixie. Yes, I try not to force anyone to watch the shows. Funny, we'll talk about that too. Hello, Lisa from Jersey. Lisa, going with the tortoiseshell frames. Kind of only do that when I'm here. Hey, Debbie with an I. When I'm on the other side of the country, I go with all the frames that Quibbs hates. When I'm here, I kind of go with the ones that she digs. Whidbey Island Hippie Girl. What a great name for a channel. Whidbey Island Hippie Girl. Flamin' Jackson. You know I love you. I really do too. Flamin' Jackson's incredible. Been around a long time. Early member of the lifeboat. Been with us from the very beginning, and just a very, very it's a solid dude. Whine a little bit more. Good to see you. All right. We're pretty close, I think. We're pretty close. Tommy told Reese that I'd be there flash if I could do anything to help. I'm only about an hour and a half from you. Please hug her for you. I could probably pull that off. and make sure she knows I can do that, April. And I will, I'm going a little early tonight, so might work a hug in. We're probably going to be doing a little movieing this evening, but probably get a hug in there. Mo Love says, I can't get over how much I love and need you guys. I've never had this before. I would do anything to hire one of you to be in my life, and I could fire the butler. I love it. You know what? You probably maybe keep the butler and I don't know, get rid of someone else. You got to have a butler, but there's got to be at least one other handler that you could replace with somebody from here. The beautiful thing about this experiment of ours is that I think a lot of people feel exactly the way you do, Mo. Truthfully, I don't think that this is a sentiment that I think a lot of people feel the same way. And no reason you can't come here and get that. Hey, Muppet Lou, I need a card. Good to see you. I need a card. I feel like we can almost get underway. Kestrel 42 says, yeah, no interest in him, in my humble opinion. It's a pretty disgusting crime. And he's a pretty disgusting human being. However, he makes for great true crime because he doesn't shut up when he gets on a jail phone, right? And his open willingness to use everybody in his life is somewhat fascinating. It's a bit of a case study, but I agree with you. He's a lousy human being, Kestrel. He really is. I mean, just an awful human being. But true crime, right? True crime tends to be speckled with disgusting human beings, sadly. Mile High Hokey, including the hosts. I'm kidding. Don't write anything. I'm just joking. You, Amber, it's so good to see you. Well, we're glad you're catching alive. West Coast Fancy Nancy, good to see you. Hope Between the Dreams is here. Hello, Kenny Adcox. I'm pretty sure I've never said hello to you, Kenny Adcox. If I have, I'd like to welcome you yet again. But if not, welcome to the boat. Glad that you're here. People were going to get naked tonight. I wasn't kidding. The worst tattoos. Here's the thing about the tattoos with Wade Wilson, right? They're pretty disturbing. He has half of his face, which looks like you can see the skeletal deal underneath. If you had any idea how many people in prison have that tattoo, a grip of them do the whole face. Some of them just do half of it. Some of it do it very like the Day of the Dead, you know, that style. But there is a bunch of people that do a half death and half regular face, man. It's I don't know. It's not a look I would go for. Joni Allen, good to see you. I'm always a little freaked out by people who tattoo their faces, right? Honestly, I really am. The one of the other things, Rick Smith, good to see you. One of the things about tattooing your face, or even north of the shoulder, there are a lot of states that will declare you 5150 if you do that. 5150 is criminally insane, right? And in some states, you can file for disability for being 5150. And I realize that you're probably sitting thinking, so what is that, like $800 a month? Like these people are going to drop out of society and tattoo their face for $800 a month? And the answer to that question is yes. Yeah. Yep. That's what they do. And then usually they're not living on $800 a month. Don't kid yourself. They usually have a pretty good drug habit. They're not living on $800 a month. What they're doing is using the $800 a month as a way to justify the life. You understand what I'm saying? And they get on Section 8. There's a lot of things you can do to really work the system, and a lot of people are really, really good at it. Had a concussion on July 13th. So same thing with the single cam and true crime. Holly, you know what? Yeah. Catalina, good to have you. I get vicious headaches. And you know what's funny? I was watching a video with Quibs the other day, and it was a Saturday Night Live skit. You know what I mean? Which is not, you don't think of a Saturday Night Live thing for being edited. And on the bright side, I bailed. I started to realize it was going askew about 30 seconds in, but it's amazing the things that can give me a headache now. It's pretty sad. Really, truthfully sad. Purple Groovy, good to see you. Purple Groovy. No, it wasn't you. It was Rolling Stone. Before I got rolling, Rolling Stone was talking about, and I'm not putting you on blast, but I'm putting you on blast. Because you were doing it in the chat anyway, but you were talking about maybe going and buying something other than alcohol and you feel stupid for doing it. I don't know, man. That's in the eye of the beholder, right? You. That's on you. To me, it sounded a lot like harm reduction. I don't know that I'd beat the piss out of myself for it. If it's something that you do every day, right, maybe that's becoming an issue. But if you really feel like you were in danger of drinking spirits, right? If you were in danger of drinking alcohol, I don't know. Sounds like harm reduction, but I'm bad at this sobriety thing, right? I think we've all established that. Just read my press clippings. I'm not sober. It's Elemental. Good to have you here. So I don't know. I don't think you can beat yourself up for that. But again, I'm not good at this. How long am I in bug tussle, Roberta? No telling. Right? No telling. Definitely this month. I don't intend to not. I'll be here for this month for sure. Margie, good to see you. How's it going? Oh, I can't complain. I mean, I say that now. Hey, Magic Healing Jimena, good to see you. Like the name. The name change. I can't complain. And saying that now, I'll probably complain for a while, but not about life. Life is good. I can't complain about life, but I'll complain about some other things because that's what we do. You know? I mean, you don't suffer in silence. And if you feel like something's going on that makes you feel a certain way, then I'm throwing that up there because you said hey to everybody. You know what I mean? You said hey to everybody. I'm going to make sure that everybody sees it. See that? Jenny gets chatty. Catty chatty. I like it. I like it. Do 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 do. Yeah, here's the other thing about the hey Casey, good to see you. The other thing, honestly, that I find fascinating, I have hey Kristen Melinda, good to see you. I've talked for a very long time about prison, right? Hey Maureen Kinsey. I seem to cover true crime with immense compassion. I guess they are interesting case studies and lessons we learn. For me, watching too many lowers my energy. No rabbit holing darkness for me. Well, you know what, Maureen? I get it. I really do. And I've heard other people say that they can absolutely find themselves kind of going down some dark places. Sorry, hold on one second. 17th day cigarette free purple groovy. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. 26 years with no booze, which is epic. But today, I'm probably a little bit more fired up about that 17th day of no cigarettes. Good for you, Purple Groovy. That's freaking amazing. And I mean that literally. That's awesome. How good does that feel? Huh? How good does that feel? All right, Maureen. Matrix Rabbit, good to see you. Maureen, let me get back to that thought. Hey, Mrs. G. Because I think this is kind of important because I think that there's something to this, right? I'm sure that it has something to do with the fact that I was immersed in it, right? I don't think that quibs and second gens and people who have escaped cults seem to feel different about cults than we do. We feel it differently because of our attachment to it. Yeah. So even Wade Wilson, right? Wade Wilson is a disgusting human being. And there's nothing, again, there's nothing about this cat that is that you can find that's redemptive, right? And the more you look at somebody like him, the things that he said afterwards, you think there is no life lesson here, right? This is a piece of human trash. There's nothing there. There's no sign of redemption, right? And I'm looking. I really am. I think it's fascinating to watch his birth father, talk about him because you can see the pain, and we all, right? Anybody who's a parent can understand how horrific a concept that has to be. Hello, Zelda, Bruce D, good to see you. Janet, Planet Jane, Geoplanet Jane. Sorry, I was just talking about you a moment ago before I went live. V McWilliams, good to see you. It's one of those things. I struggle when I see his dad. You know, that's kind of the humanity thing for me. Even when a person is absolutely human trash, there are people that love them the way we love our loved ones. And that's hard, isn't it? It's hard to think about. But the reality of true crime is, I don't know, maybe I see it differently, you know, because I know that when I went away, I took a crap load of people with me. You know, you go away for 3,000 days and everybody you love goes with you for 3,000 days, you know? Mo Love says, I was in a cult-like place for years as a child when my parents dumped me off at a nun-type place, and I thought it was normal until recently, like until this year. I hope that you're writing down tons of stuff, Mo Love. I hope that you're doing A lot of that. Shannon Smith says, I did time with my sister. Johnny Scoville did time with me. Everybody, right, did time with me. And what I also find fascinating is I spend a lot of time talking about prison. And you see like a dude like Wade Wilson who goes into prison. You take a look at this cat, right? And you see the half of his face tatted back. And then they start playing these prison phone calls, and you're like, this guy is bisexual. Who cares, right? But this is a headline in his case. This guy's not bisexual. This guy's a con man. I promise you. And there are so many guys that once they get behind the wall, there is one thing that they are going to concentrate on, and one thing that they're going to concentrate on alone, right? The only focus of their time there is going to be to make sure that they're doing it as comfortable as humanly possible. You feel me? All they want to do is, have a little cash on the commissary account, right? All they want to do is have some people that are taking care of them. And it's pretty disgusting because you'll watch people work their families. You'll watch, being in there and watching it, but listening to him on a phone call with a guy calling him babe and talking about how they're going to be together when they get out is a highlight of who this guy is. He's not a dude with a soul currently. Is there hope? I'd like to believe there is, right? Maybe I'm an idiot. Honestly, maybe I'm an idiot on this thing. Sorry, the rug is driving me nuts. Maybe I'm an idiot on this thing, right? But I do believe that there's hope for everybody, even lowlifes, right? Even people for whom it doesn't seem like there is any hope. Question: you talked about Drew Peterson's cognitive decline and him saying he murdered his wife. What caused the cognitive decline? April Goodson, when I left the last time I saw Drew, he was 65, right? He just turned 65 years of age, and he just was getting old. And when you spend a couple of decades, right? If you're the guy I talked about the other day, Scott Peterson, like Drew Peterson, has professed his innocence from the day it happened, right? The difference is that he's in his 40s, and he's not joking about the fact that he killed Lacey, right? He's taking a hard line to every person on earth. I didn't do it. Drew Peterson is super glib, joking around, talking about, always joking about the fact that he killed his wife. He used to talk about, he would take pictures with inmates, and then he would write on the back, the guys would write on the back, this is my marriage counselor, right? Like, I'm getting marriage counseling from Drew Peterson. A lot of jokes that were just dark about, and I think that the longer you talk about something that openly, it becomes very sort of, I don't know. He's not as sharp as he was, and he's a guy with a huge ego. And, people just sort of, even relatives, they get a little older, and when they tell stories, they're not as sharp as they used to be, that kind of thing. Well, they were asking him a question, and they said, why do you want the press to why are you upset about the press talking about this or whatever? And he said, well, I don't want my kids thinking I'm a murderer. And she said, there was no question that had anything to do with that. And she said, what? I don't understand that. Why did you bring that up? And you could just see that he kind of ended up on the balls of his feet. He's not 100% there, unfortunately, Dr. G, the behavior specialist, did a review of Scott Peterson interview with Diane Sawyer. Oh, I have not seen it, but I will. I love that show. I really do. I love that show. See, this is interesting, right? This is interesting because do you stop? I couldn't stop loving Spanky. I couldn't. There's nothing that kid could do. I could stop respecting him, right? I mean, there are things that you could do that would, but he's my son, right? Yeah, thank you, Maureen. The Matthew Perry thing. Something? I'm not great right now, right? I'm struggling right now mentally, and I don't know if his story had something to do with that, right? For real, the Matthew Perry story is really hard. I'm not kidding. Like, most stories, you crank them out, especially if you do a show a day. So you do a show and you don't spend the whole lot of time thinking about it too much after the show. You follow me? You just kind of roll on to the next one. But what happened with Matthew Perry is so friggin' disturbing, right? This is a drug overdose that shouldn't have happened. And I mean, all drug overdoses shouldn't happen, right? But there's dope on the street that's poison. And if you're rolling the dice, if you're out there playing that game and you end up dead, that's really unfortunate, right? But if you're shooting dope every day that you're buying on the street, you're kind of in that roulette game, right? You really are. And the way they took advantage of him, Shannon Smith, is exactly right. Right. It's devastating the way that they took advantage of the cat, and the fact that that he was a target from day one. Right. As soon as they saw this guy, right, how much can we get this fool for? That's so disturbing. And to know that, they saw him coming. They saw him coming. And this is a guy that depression was so ugly for. Right. It was just, they saw him coming. And I think, I don't know, I think that story kind of sent me off in a direction that isn't particularly, I don't know, that was hard on it. It sounds stupid, but it really, it left me in a bad headspace. And this, yeah, great piece of advice, right? Never quit quitting. Smoked for 26 years. I've been clean for 9 now. You can do it. That first day is the worst, and that's absolutely true. And the first 3 are going to suck the worst. That first 72 hours, right? After that, nicotine is going to be out of your system. Chantix does help, right? I've heard a lot of great things about that. It's bupurin. It's the same thing as Wellbutrin. And for a lot of people, it does cut down massively on cravings. Talk to your doctor. I'm not one. You should talk to your doctor. Barbie, good to see you. If you guys watch, we're kind of a little family here. Right? There's like 3 channels, probably has occurred to you. I have a channel. My girlfriend has a channel. We have a channel together, and the stuff kind of melds. Yeah. So, sorry. Society seemed to repeatedly build people up only to tear them down, all the way back to the Aztec days of human sacrifice. There's a lot of truth to this. There's a lot of truth to this, right? I've never said hello to you. Welcome to the Lifeboat. Glad you're here. True story. Glad you're here. Hey, Gina Marie Torino, Guacaholic, what's happening? So, hold on one second. Hey, thoughts and prayers for you, Guac. Thoughts and prayers. That's awful. Really is. I just missed my queen so much. She died 2 months ago today while I slept next to her. I was unable to help her, which will haunt me for the rest of my life. I miss her so much. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what you're going through. I really can't imagine what you're going through. It's not something I could wrap my brain around. I say this a lot on the boat, and sometimes it offends people, but I don't think that guilt is yours, right? It's a hard thing, right? When somebody is that close to you physically, right? And somebody that you love is that close to you when they, transition to the other side. But we're not in that line of work, my friend. We're not in that line of work, right? We don't stop death. Not our line of work. There's nothing you could have done. If you were a doctor, there's nothing you could have done. It's just how it is. Squirrel Nut Zipper. I did a FaceTime with Squirrel Nut Zipper today. My nephew was trying to show me a trick that he got Squirrel to do. It's a trick I got Squirrel to do about 4 years ago. He's pretty damn impressed that he taught my cat to fetch. In order to teach Squirrel to fetch, he just would have had to throw something. I spent a lot of time teaching Squirrel Nut Zipper to fetch. And if you've been on the boat for any length of time, you've probably seen videos of her fetching. But I thought it was really funny because he FaceTimed. He's like, you got to see this. You got to see this. He's like, she brings it back. I'm like, yeah, no, I trained her. Tampa B, good to see you. So Squirrel Nut Zipper's doing great, I promise. But Guacaholic, it's hard. I'm going to keep praying for you because I can't imagine. But I think that I think journaling is probably a huge thing right now. And I think that grieving and going through the process of that, because we feel guilty even when we're not laying next to somebody, right? There's a thing where we feel like we should be able to do something. Our love should be enough. I live for now. Good to see you. Hey, Diane. And I'm sorry that you're feeling the way you do, but I don't know. I think that it's a curse, right? Hey, there's nothing wrong with crying. Right? Honestly, there's nothing wrong with crying. Guacaholic says, thanks. I'm sick of crying, but I got to do it. My dad died 3 years ago, right? Not my partner for life, just my best friend. And I still cry about my dad constantly. A song will come on the radio. The other day, for whatever reason, Barney Miller came in my feed. It's a show that was shot with one camera. right? There's so little editing in that show. It's just one police room. And I ended up watching an episode of it. And by the end of it, I was sobbing because I knew I had watched that episode with my dad. And it was just, it's heavy. I think it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be heavy. Pat Jonas, good to see you. You know what? I'm proud of you, Guacaholic. Keep it up, please. Keep it up. You had a cat that would fetch Matrix Rabbit? Love it. Love it. Kestrel says, I'm so sick of crying. I'm sorry, Kestrel. Thoughts and prayers. You know what? It gets a bad reputation, right? We really spend a lot of time from the time we're little kids trying to tell each other to stop crying. Don't cry, right? Don't cry. Cry your ass off. For real, cry. Your body starts to do that. Roll with it. I promise. Good things happen. Good things happen with tears. For real. The telescope through which we view whatever it is you view. Personally, for me, that's God. But whatever it is you're looking at, right? You're probably going to use tears to look at it. It's always been my experience anyway. But that's me. Hey, Tony Hobbin. You did make a live on the boat. Yay! Glad you're here. I really am. Glad you're here. Yeah, it's tough, Guacaholic. It really is. I'm so sorry. Florence Southern, good to see you. But continue to journal, continue to do what you do. And you're not going to get over this, right? People, places, and perspectives. Good to see you. Darcy, what's up? You're not going to get over this. And you wouldn't want to. What would it say about you if you could get over this? Right? Not going to get over this. We don't get over death. We live with it. We move on. But there's a lot of things on this planet that we don't get closure for, right? There's no such thing as closure for death. If they're telling you that there is, it's because they're trying to sell you a book. Because there just isn't. And that's all right. Honest to God, it is. Robin Miners, what's up? So I've been here. I got here. Hey, Katie Fulton, how are you? I got here a while ago. People, if you've been watching either of the channels, you know that we've been on a mission, right? Me and Quibs have been on a mission, going after the second control group in her life. You call it a cult, really? You can. It's like a sex cult. It's pretty disgusting. And the more we deep dive, and the more people who reach out to us, the more sleazy we realize it is. But you probably realize what brought this on, right? If you've paid attention, it was someone who was very significant in her life. I don't want to get this friggin' video. Boy, he likes to complain about videos. So I won't say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. He's no longer in that organization. He resigned. I'm assuming they asked him to, but who knows? Maybe he just became a stand-up cat. Or he's starting the process of becoming a stand-up cat. Who knows, right? But yes, he is, Kestrel. Absolutely. Well said. But you know what? Hey, Susan P. Here's the deal. That's a great name, Kestrel. I like it. But Mr. Wobble, I think that this has been a mission, whether it's a mission or not. This has been I think this has been a part of, I think in the back of Quibs's head and maybe in the front of it. She would have been very happy to see this exact same thing happen, right? That's just the truth. To see the guy that lied to her about all this and said, this stuff doesn't go on, right? To get bounced out for all those lies. If he had just been honest, I don't think this would have been an issue. Hey, Paula Penley, great life lesson for BSing your mate, right? Don't do it. But waste of skin and a lot of it, Shelley. Hey, humble and kind. But what happens, right? What happens when you get the windmill, right? Old Don Quixote style. You feel me? What happens? What happens when you actually get the windmill? What happens when you kill the monster? It's a really interesting question because I don't think this happens very often, right? This was a pretty lofty goal. This is a secret society, right? To get enough people to realize that it exists, A, enough people to believe what you're talking about, B, and then people reaching out to the point where all of a sudden they're like, I don't think we want this dude around anymore. Like he's a liability. That's an epic thing to pull off. It really is. I don't know A lot of effort, and a lot of time, and I think that 5 or 6 years of this person's life has been fantasizing about this day. Have you ever had something you fantasize about for 6 years come true? I don't remember if I have, but I think it's a really odd thing, and I'm watching it happen to somebody I care amazingly deeply for. And I'm not a guru. I'm not any good at this crap. I really am not. I mean, I'm just trying to struggle through like the rest of us. And it's hard to look at somebody that you care about who's 3 feet away that you can't help. And I don't know that there is help, right? This is, I think, whenever we get exactly what we want, and you build it up in your head for so long, when you get it, it's not ever what you think it's going to be. And I think that's hard. I joined the lifeboat to gain perspective on drug addiction. My first love from 28 years ago was a meth addict. Never gotten over him. Some people you just never get over. I miss him. You know what, Catalina? Uh, I think that this happens more often with people who are immensely broken, right? Uh, Drug addicts, for the most part, are really broken individuals, but their addiction causes things that are almost universal. They're incredibly open, they're incredibly raw. You find out who those people are in ways that you probably don't with other individuals. When you meet people who are not addicts, they're usually far more guarded, right? There's an image that they're sort of portraying, and that you spend enough time on dope, you really can't do that. Right. This is something I hear so often. So many people on the boat say the same story. You know, there was a man or a woman I was in love with a long time ago who was addicted to drugs, and that person has never gotten out of my mind. I think the other part of that is that we find ourselves going, what if, right? The Of all the words of mice and men, the saddest are what might have been. We find ourselves saying, if that person wasn't on dope, can you imagine? Right. Every girl I've ever been with, right? Every wife that I divorced, all of those people I'm sure have said, man, if he just didn't do dope, right? We could have. It's hard. Tommy, what do you do when your deepest losses are the ones that you can't even cry about? YouTube videos and daily hurts can bring a tear to my eye, but somehow I can't grieve the worst losses. Really? Well, a lot of times when I'm hello cricket, a lot of times when there's something affecting me, right, from a song or from watching a video or whatever, um I'm usually not crying about that, right? It's usually a representation of something in my life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes sometimes the things I cry about are people that I've lost or whatever, and it'll be something else that brings it out. I may not be addressing the things um head on, mile high hokey, but I think very often we kind of backdoor into stuff. Are you journaling? Because holy hell, you want to talk about the start of a journal entry? There it is, right? There it is. List those greatest losses. Write about them. Everything you can remember about them, right? One at a time. You obviously know the ones in your head. If you can't grieve the greatest losses, probably one, two, three of them you can think of, right? You could rattle them off like this. List them. Write them down. Everything you can remember, when it happened, who was around, what it felt like, what it smelled like. For real, that's what journaling is. Trying to get back to that moment because we didn't take care of business when it happened. Feel me? You understand the journaling concept? This is why journaling kicks ass going forward, right? Because if you're taking care of it while it's happening, we don't find ourselves 25 years later going, why can't I grieve for this? Or why do I feel like I never took care of that? Because you didn't, right? You put it in a closet, you kept going. Then you got to go back and you got to carefully peel the onion to try to put yourself there in the past so that we can deal with what we should have dealt with day one. Does that make sense? Because it does to me, man. It really does to me. That clown is incapable. And is it clown? I think it's fool. Either way, they do wear silly hats. Off topic. So proud of my daughter that she just successfully taught her cat to potty in a toilet. I know exactly how to do that. But I've not been with a lady ever who was willing to allow me to have my cat use the toilet. For real. Every woman I've ever been with said, hell no, your cat's not using the toilet. But I trained one in college, and It's a I think now they may sell kits. I don't think, back in the day we did it with cardboard, but you would take a piece of cardboard and put it over the top of the toilet underneath the seat. And you would cut like a football shaped hole out of the middle of it, very, very small. And you put litter around the outside. And the cat uses the litter. And every couple of days, every 5 days, whatever, we would cut an inch off of that football size hole. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger until there was no kitty litter around the outside. And the cat would just hop up and do its business off the off the side. Very funny stuff. But women don't like to see your cat using the toilet. At least that's been my experience. Katie Fulton says, absolutely. Just say no to BSing your mate. Well, that's solid advice. Believe that, right? That is really solid advice, Katie Fulton. Humble and Kind says, if you pray, please pray for my son and my husband tomorrow. They have 3-hour drive each way to possibly say goodbye to a father who was never there for him growing up. Wow, does that suck? Wow, does that suck? But your husband and your son are going there together. I love that. I'm sorry, I really do. When my grandfather died, I went to New York with my dad for the funeral. We road tripped, the two of us in a car. Everybody else went down later, but my dad was going to leave that day to be with his family, and I said I'll go with you. Let me get in the car. And I had my dad for, I don't remember what, like 50 years, 51 years, something like that. That road trip, 4 hours in a car with him was the best time that I ever spent in my life with him. Right. And I think about every minute of that trip, right? All of those years ago, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I can remember the shit we listened to on the radio. I'm not kidding. Like it doesn't take any peeling of the onion for me to go back to that one. And my brain, thank God that there are times that I can look back to in the past where I swear to God, I can smell the room. Right. And it's funny because I can't remember where my car keys are anymore. I can't remember the names of people on the boat. I can't remember emails that I had with people. It's a bummer. It really is. But the old memory is pretty good. Yeah. Reese wanted the sea wobble to choose her over the cult, and he never did. Damn straight. Right. There it is. That's exactly what she wanted. Then it got worse. And then he said, if not only am I not going to choose the cult over you, but I'm going to tell you you're an effing nut. Every time you bring it up, I'm just going to look at you and go, do you hear yourself? This isn't going on. This is in your head, right? It's like a creepy freaking horror movie. I'm not shitting you. Think about how creepy that is, right? Gaslighting. I didn't know what that friggin' term was until this asshole entered my life. I'm not being funny. Do you know how many people I've had try to explain to me the concept of gaslighting? And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. So what you're trying to do is make somebody feel crazy. Okay, that doesn't, again, non sequitur. I don't understand what that means. When she started describing what he was doing, I was like, that's gaslighting, isn't it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, holy crap. Right now I know what you're talking about. Right. That's literally the best example of it I've ever seen. You just look at somebody and tell them they're nuts. No, it's not happening. Right. I don't care what you found. I don't care what evidence you have. It doesn't happen. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. Well, it's happening. Right. And I think this is, again, everything you ever wanted. The validation of this, right? 6 years of fantasizing, and you just made it happen. That's a really rugged thing to deal with. And I hope, I don't know, I hope I'm doing a decent job. It's, as being a boyfriend, this is a really hard thing. I've been blessed to know Olympic athletes who won gold medals, and some of them walk away just high-fiving and happy as stuff. And a lot of them go into like a postpartum where they're like, my God, this was everything I ever wanted. I got it. Like, boy, I spent a lot of time trying to get this medal, right? And then when you got it, it's sort of now what? This has been my entire life. Well, I think for the last, I don't know how many years, this has been her entire life. And yeah, it's it's bizarre to be a part of. It really is. And I wish I knew the right thing to say, because I know she's struggling. It's hard. It really is. It's also friggin' fascinating, right? What a case study. Lisa Trimble is tossing them out like hot sauce packets. You know what? I love that. I'm so glad Quib said that, because I love the visual image of it. We used to cause a lot of problems in fast food restaurants. Not proud of that, but we used to cause a lot of problems in fast food restaurants. Tossin stuff became real popular, and hot sauce packets used to get. Comment, Tommy, so many times your lives pierce through my heart. Wow. Renee B, I hope so. Right? I hope so. Okay. Because I think that we talk about truths that are universal, right? I think so. I think that the stuff we talk about are universal truths. So you may not, hey, DNV 1983, you may not be a drug addict, and you may not, our life experiences can be completely different in every single element, in every single way. But I think the life experience stuff, the truths that that are bigger than all that are the kind of stuff that we do end up talking a lot about. If you had a spare bathroom, you would train if you had a spare bathroom, that'd be perfect. I also think that someday somebody is going to make a kitty litter that can be flushed. Real, like if you have that many cats, why don't they make like a toilet that a cat could just go in and you could just sort of flush the thing? To me, that would make a lot of sense. that makes a lot of sense, but as of yet, it doesn't seem to have been done. You wouldn't care if my cat was potty trained? Well, you know what, Tampa B, I'll be really honest. Occasionally, you do have to clean up. Sometimes the cat, while hanging off the edge, sometimes it drips a little onto the toilet seat. And that has always been the problem. Like, I don't mind cleaning that up. That's a lot easier to me than scooping litter 3 times a day. And I do scoop litter 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day. Like, I'm anal about it. So it was easier, but they don't want to deal with that. And I get it. Drugs usually numb the pain, especially when losing a child and your husband was the driver of the vehicle. Oh my God. It was an accident. He had nothing in his system. It was dark. Oh my God, baby girl. Oh my God. Zelda was always afraid her cats would fall in. You know what? I never had that happen. I until you said that, I hadn't even thought about it. It's crazy, but I guess if I were probably sober, I would have worried about that. But I wasn't for a very long time in my life. Can we get some thoughts and prayers for baby girl? That's, my God, that is so hard. It really is. That's one of the most difficult things I've seen somebody write, baby girl. You'd prefer that over kitty litter. Casey, I'm with you. Honestly. Hey, Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith had a friend had a cat who just started to use the toilet on its own. I guess he wanted to do what the humans were. That is that cat right there, for real. Sandy Bowers, good to see you. I would not get rid of a cat that started using the toilet on its own. You hear me? Ever. Seriously. Loved ones would have to move out before I would get rid of that cat. That's genius. It's absolutely genius. Women should love to. Yeah, you would think. But here's the thing. No woman that I ever have been with had to scoop kitty litter. That's my thing. I figure I owe that to the cat. It can't take care of that itself. I'll take care of that. It makes me happy, right? Cats do nothing but make me happy. Least I can do is clean up so that I don't have to use dirty bathroom. There's no reason they should. I do try to journal, but my ADD makes it messy. Yeah, I get it. Sounds like an excuse. I think it's partly a belief that I don't deserve the tears. Lots of ants will give it my best effort. Well, yeah, ants suck. Ants for me, I'm not gonna beat my ants journaling. I'm not. However, doesn't mean I'm not gonna journal. And I struggle mightily to get my thoughts onto paper. We know this, yeah. I've been open and honest about this, right? This is what caused my drug problem, right? The belief I was stupid really was a struggle at a young age, and I did a lot of dope because of it. So I struggle really hard, Mile High Hokey, to get my thoughts onto paper. Hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you here. Jam, what's up? Then one day I went, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care how bad it looks. I don't care if anybody else can read it. I don't care if it is disjointed. I don't care if words aren't capitalized. I don't care if punctuation is right or if the spelling is shit. I'm going to get it out of my head. And over a long time of doing that, I've gotten to the point where, number one, I'm not as hideous as I used to be. But I write for me, right? There is nobody else that I'm wrong for. And it's amazing because my brother Johnny is a writer. Like Johnny can write. He can get stuff onto paper. I have been reading Johnny's stuff. The book is done. Done, 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 done. And we have gone back, like there's been 2 rewrites. The book is done. Now it's just editing, and you have to change everybody's names, right? It's hard to give a character a different name and remember it. So you just write with the real characters' names, and then you go back and change it at the end. And we're doing that kind of stuff. But that's another thing that's been really hard on me, for the last maybe the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. I'm reading a hell of a lot about my past. I'm reading about things that I did, and I'm answering questions and doing stuff for the book, and it's hard. It really is. It's when I read it, it's like I'm reading about a different person. But when I got to answer questions about it, it's very much me, and it's disturbing. Tommy, thank you for being there with and for our Reese. Well, you know what? I'm having a lot of fun doing that. Thanks for loving her. That's what she needs. Thanks, Jam Jam. It's labor of love. May sound funny, but yeah. Do. Yeah, she's pretty easy to love. In person, we do a tremendous amount of laughing. A diaper genie is great for scooping the cat box. A litter genie. I have a litter genie. The greatest invention in history. Oh yeah. If you don't have a litter genie and you scoop litter, right? You have to have a litter. If you do it by hand, you have to have a litter genie. You just scoop everything in and you pull a little thing and all this drops down and you shut it. And you can do that even with 2 cats and one of them being slightly larger than any average cat. A lot of eating. Even with both of the cats going at it, I only have to empty the thing probably once a week, right? So it's very convenient. Similarly, I do theater. Oh yeah, Holly. And post-show depression is a real thing. You become a family, and it's highly unlikely you will ever do another show with all these people ever again. I was a theater major in college, right? Not prison college, the first time I went. And I have done a ton of plays. I've been in a film or 2. At one time, that is the angle I thought I was going to go in life. And you're right. It's a rugged thing when the show is over. The only thing worse is I did a professional show once, and they told us that hold on one second. They told us the show was being picked up, and it wasn't. And so when the last day came, we didn't think it was the last day. Right? We thought we had another 6 months coming. And they were like, no, they pulled the plug. That sucked. It was a really depressing day. Mo Love, no one's going to judge anybody here, especially for what you're talking about, right? However, we're worried about you. Feel me? No, my brother does not remember the childhood different at all. But what happened is we started to do drugs and commit crime. And at that point, it's just that he'll forget a name, he'll forget a detail, he'll say how many people were there, that kind of thing. But it forces you to spend a lot of time thinking about things that I have really, really tried to not think about. Right? Like I've really have separated me now and me then, and it's a disturbing thing to go back to the then. But I think it's a good idea. Lucia, it's a lot like reading someone else's life. It really is. It's a lot like reading someone else's life. But it's disturbing as hell. The 5-minute walk out to the trash can. Well, I probably did that close to as long as you're on this planet. I've had the litter genie about a month and a half, but I'm pretty damn happy with it. I won't lie to you. Mo Love, my God, honey, please, Mo Love, maybe reach out with some with an email where you're cool and safe, right? Uh, and there are people that I can put you in contact with that we've done this before. There are people that can help facilitate you. That would just be there for you. So reach out and I'll explain how all that works if you'd like to. If not, I get it. But boy, we'd like you to, right? It just seems like a very dangerous situation. They don't get better very often, they get worse. And sadly, they can go really, really bad, Mo, and we don't want that to happen to you. Yay for your fellow theater kids. Katie Fulton was another theater kid. Oh yeah, I was a huge theater student. I was absolutely. I played football too, which was tough because all my football friends used to crap on me really bad for it. But no, I dug it. I've always been a big fan of theater. It was an awful lot of fun. Kind of went hand in hand with everything else too. You know what I mean? That like public speaking and everything else. It's just once you get comfortable being in front of a crowd, whether you're talking to them or pretending to be somebody else or whatever, it's the excitement was always kind of the crowd. You know, this is a little different, but this is fun too. It's a similar kind of a thing. Lots of ones, Mo Live. Lots of ones. You know what? I'll take some ones too. Honestly, I wish. I don't know. I wish I was a friggin' guru. I wish half of the things people wrote about me were true. Right? The good stuff. The other stuff's all bullshit. But I wish half of the things that people wrote about me are true because you if you read half of it, you'd think that that I ate bullets and pissed ice cubes and occasionally walked on water, and none of those things are true. But I do appreciate the kind words. I'm not being an ass. I'm just saying that sometimes I mean, honestly, if you read it, you think that I could perform miracles, and as of yet, I haven't done any of those. But I'm holding out hope. Right? I'm holding out hope. Theater is a way of life. It doesn't leave you. For real. I know more show tunes than any guy in history. For real. I know a lot of show tunes. One of your cats drinks out of the toilet. Eek. I had a cat that did that. And I used to clean the hell out of the toilet because it used to bum me out. But yeah, I had a cat that used to do it. What do I think about NA, AA, and Al-Anon? I think that AA, NA, and Al-Anon have gotten more people sober and helped more people than anything else out there 10 to 1. I really do. I think that especially Alcoholics Anonymous, we stand on the backs of the people that built that, right? The fact that you guys are listening to me, honestly, is because of what they did back then. Because all of the concepts of me talking and people listening and somehow that making it easier to try to get sober is a concept that didn't exist before AA. You know, two people got together and said, I'll keep you from drinking, you keep me from drinking, and right, everything ought to be groovy, right? It worked, right? And since then, group therapy has become the gold standard. I believe wholeheartedly that those programs are fantastic. I think that over time, damage has been done to them by the legal system in the United States of America, forcing everybody who's on bail, everybody who's in court services, anybody who's on probation, anyone who's on parole, all have to go to AA or NA. All of them. The idea was people who wanted to quit all got together. Now, in a room of 100 guys, 70 of them have been ordered to be there, and they don't want to be there. And they got dope in their pockets, and it has really damaged the programs, in my opinion. But I don't badmouth the 12 steps. They're not for me. It didn't work for me at all. I tried wholeheartedly, and there's not a one size fits all. It really isn't. And for a lot of people, the 12-step stuff comes off kind of culty. Right? And we don't want that. You know, I'm shitting you with this, right? I mean, but the 12 steps come off a little culty to some people, and they bum out about that. It didn't work for me. It just didn't. Wow. Brittany says, Tommy, I filled a journal I have had for like over a year, and I've been journaling now for a month, almost every day. And when I tell you there's a difference, there really is. Everybody hear that? I'll let you read that one more time quickly. Go ahead. Do, 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 do. Did you get that? Crap's real, man. I promise you that's real. You're right, Katie Fulton. I speak in show tunes. Yeah, unfortunately, you know what? I do too, but nobody gets it. I made a reference the other day to Too Darn Hot. I said something about the Kinsey report, and I got nothing. I got nothing. I think I might have even been live, but it wasn't on this channel. Auntie Wombat, Tommy, I don't have accreditations or great trauma in my past. You truly motivate me to change and improve what I can to live better. Wow, man, what a cool thing to say. For real, that is such a kind thing to say. And you know what? I need you guys. I'll tell you a little secret. Right? I'll tell you a little secret. Hey, Katie, good to see you. Um, I'm on a new insurance, and I've been on the new insurance. It's not new anymore. It's been 13 months, right? I probably am an ass to call it new insurance because I've been on it for 13 months. But for the last 13 months, Chris is not covered by my insurance. She's not in house. My therapist is not in house. And there's no freaking way I can live without this woman, right? So, but I have cut my place in half. I know Bill Wilson's place, Martha. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about in Vermont. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I'm sorry, completely lost my train of thought, but it was worth it. I know Bill Wilson's place. Sorry. So yeah, so back to Chris. So I've been I it used to be I used to pay $175 a session, but it was covered by my insurance. And now I got it down a little cheaper than that, but I can't afford to do it 4 times a month. I can't. So I've been doing it twice a month, which isn't the end of the world. But if I had the money, I would do it every 3 days. I promise to God I would. Like the woman is just good at what she does. And I'll tell you something. I am not kidding you. I probably went through 9 of them before I found her. You really got to just keep going until you get one. You're right. You're absolutely right. Right? Nothing should be more important than mental health. I believe that 100%. Nothing should. Here's the problem. We got a stigma, right? As big as Boston attached to mental health. You don't see people go, I'm mentally ill. No one would say, we don't think twice to say, oh, I got lupus, or I got diabetes, or I'm struggling with diverticulitis, right? You get some kind of anything, and we're that fast, right? Hey, I got diagnosis. I don't know if I told you I got this. Hey, I suffer from mental illness. Hell no. Right? Just wouldn't want to say it. I'm very seriously considering getting a t-shirt that says I'm mentally ill because I am. And I don't have a problem. I really don't. I am a much happier person since I started to say the phrase I'm mentally ill out loud. Right? I walked around for 46 years pretending I had my shit together, and I didn't, right? I was so horrifically messed up. I couldn't stay sober. I couldn't do anything right. Then I met a man who changed my life. Tampa Bay, I love you. I really do. Thank you so much. You have changed mine as well, Tampa Bay. That was your 10th super chat? BS. There's no way. You did 10 super chats in one night. It was one of the funniest things ever. I remember like it was yesterday. You know what? I here's the thing with politics, right? Because this is an interesting question, right? Someone asked, here you go. Check this out. Not to get into politics, Tommy, but do you believe it has anything to do with the politics that it isn't counted so urgent as Americans? Here's the thing. Do I think it's political? Yeah, to some level, but I think above all of that, it comes down to the stigma of it is the number one problem with mental health. above everything else, right? Because if the patient can't say out loud, I'm mentally ill, how is anybody else going to be willing to help them? Right? Seriously, you have to cry out for help. You have to not suffer in silence. And the stigma that is associated with mental health keeps people from doing exactly what they need to do if they want to be healthy. And that sucks, right? Tommy Bird, I'm not putting that up there. It's funny as hell, but I'm not putting that up there. I'm struggling mentally and emotionally. Kat, thank you for saying that. Work has been overwhelming, and then so many tragedies have been happening in close proximity to me. I feel really overwhelmed. Well, I'm glad that you said that. Carol Barnhart, good to see you. Crazy as this sounds, right? As odd as this sounds. Kat, do you feel better saying that out loud? I mean it. And if you don't, go ahead and say it. But more often than not, the vast majority of time, saying out loud, admitting to someone else, hey, I'm having a hard time, man. I'm really having a hard time, goes a long way to actually helping you. People don't get anxiety and depression. They're in such a stigma, and it's hard to even tell people. You're right. You're absolutely right. Look at you, Katie Fulton. Cole Porter. That's right. I did that. I did that play. I'd like to dance with my baby tonight. Yeah, I did that play, that musical. I did that. That was last century. Yeah, it's a good one. It's one of my. It's a great show tune. It's one of my favorites. It's funny as hell. You're not alone, Kat. You hear that? You are not alone, Kat. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? I don't have people to say it out loud to. Really stinks. Well, Nana of two, of course you do. Of course you do. That's what this freaking experiment we call the lifeboat is, right? We're all in the same boat. We come here because we don't have people in the real world who will understand exactly what we say, right? If I come out and I meet someone, they go, hey, how you doing? Ah, not good. What's going on? Well, had about a 7 gram a day heroin habit for a really long time, and it caused me to rob banks and do a lot of other really messed up things. Pissed away the first 46 years of my life. Been out of prison now, and trying to get my life in order. But I make a living online, right? And I got a whole group of people that just go around writing shit about me and making videos about me that isn't true. Imagine saying that to somebody you just meet. They look at you and go, yeah, dude, I was saying hi. Like I didn't really want to hear any of that when I said, how you doing? Like, I just wanted you to go, not bad. How are you? And keep moving like everybody else does. I didn't ask you because I really wanted to freaking hear how you were doing. Yeah. Well, people don't ask like that anymore. So we do it here. It's not such a bad thing, is it? Most of my friends are upper middle class. One daughter was hooking for drugs. We're surrounding them with love. God bless you, right? God bless you. That's what needs to happen. That's exactly what needs to happen. Robert Hall, this is hard to read out loud. This is something that is so deeply personal to me, but when you look at how horrible the mental health system has become, it's frightening. So many who need hospitalization end up in prison. And I got news for you. You know how they're treated? The term in prison is category J, right? JCAT, category J. Category J means that they're not showering, right? After about 3 days of not showering, they start to observe you. And then there's diet. There's a bunch of other stuff. One of them is really unpleasant, right? When they start to play with their own excrement, category J. But so a guy will come in and it's not nice. Someone will go, oh, yeah, I got a new cellmate. Yeah, is he cool? No, he's an F and J cat. And they're gonna crap all over this person. They're not going to treat him well. No one's going to put their arm around him and go, oh man, do you suffer from mental illness? Do you need a little help? That ain't how it's go down. It's not. It's not that kind of place. It's sad that these people end up in prison. It's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching. Honest to God. The days that I would like to do heroin, those are thoughts I'd like to get away from. For real. The people that I met in prison that you knew were just screaming for psychiatric help. They weren't in prison because they were evil or any of that shit. You know, I knew a guy that called the White House and made some stupid threats, and he just was not all there. You know, he just was not all there. And they gave me 8 years. Right? No criminal history, no nothing. And he wasn't gonna. It's just stupid. Lisa Trimble joining me in the mentally ill club. Well, I love it. Good. I hate being alone in that club. Seriously, if I continue journaling and I die, my adult kids will find out how many girls I slept with in college. I'm serious. Makes me nervous to journal, and I pass, and they find them. Well, I'll tell you something. This could go a couple of ways, right? Number one, you can buy a lockbox, right? You can buy a legit ass, no joke lockbox, or I don't know your family, right? But I know mine. If I pass away tomorrow, Spanx Calhoun is going to come in. He's going to pick up all of my journals. He's going to stick them in a box, and he's going to take them to the dump. Right? Those thoughts are mine. And Spanky wouldn't look at him. That's my kid. He wouldn't. I've had the conversation with him, and I've said to him, would you want to look at him? No. He said to me, no, no desire whatsoever to see your stuff. I don't want to see his either. Have a conversation with your kids and say, these are my deepest and most personal thoughts. This is me working through stuff. I would like to believe you could destroy this without looking at it. Is that a possibility for you? If they say no, go get you a pretty rugged safe. And before you go to bed at night, throw that thing in there and lock it, right? Put it in a lockbox. You think they're going to blow that thing open to get journals out? They're probably not that into it. Right? They're probably not that into it. Or write it and put it through a shredder every night. The act of writing it out is half of the freaking battle. Half of the battle is engaging this part of your body, right? Because it makes your brain do a different thing. Yeah, concussions are no joke. You know what? I should leave that one up there. I really should leave that one up there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to. Because this is my life. Your internet is taking a dump now. Drama club and mentally ill club. Perfect. I like it. We can hang out. All right, people. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up because it's movie night here in Bug Tussle. And I'm going to go watch a movie in bed with my girlfriend. And I'll give her a hug from all of you. I hope all of you have a fantastic evening. And I will be back tomorrow because this is what we do. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody. And if that somebody is yourself, try tonight. Mo love. Don't wait for